Wow, that was the Flying Scotsman. Welcome to Partickhill Station. Welcome back to Partickhill Station. It's Charlie again. So this time we're going to be looking at the Hornby or Triang Hornby LNER Teak coaches. And you know, I've got a couple of boxes of these, a number of sleeping cars and a variety of first and third cars. So basically what we're going to do is take this, then take it apart, as you can see here. These just pop out quite easily. The tricky part is getting the chassis out and the interior without breaking anything. You have to be very careful. I've not got the softest of touch, and I've already broken a little clip off the glass here, but not to worry. I've got it apart without doing too much damage, and I've started to prepare this sleeping car for painting. So I've used painter's tape across the roof, as you can see, and then I'll begin the process of painting. The ends just sort of fall out when you take the chassis off, and then it's a case of just tweaking the interior out, and then we're ready to start painting. Well, we're back at the Gresley coaches, and as you can see, here is the original condition of a Gresley coach as I purchased it a number of years back. And it's, like as everybody else said, it's a nice model. It's nicely detailed, but by today's standards, it's missing out in a high level of detail. But from a 3-foot perspective, I think it looks great. Now, what I've done is I've taken painter's tape because it's easy to pull off and it doesn't take everything else with it. So I'm just getting that in there, and that will help protect the roof. So what I've got is the Seraphine Sepia shade. This one is now, I don't know what the difference was between the contrast and the shade, but I'm going to give this one a go. And I've got the Tamiya X20A thinner. I've also got a couple of nice brushes because I do a bit of artwork and I always have them around. And a nice one for dusting. Not sure how much this one cost, but I think it was pretty cheap. So I'm just going to give the body a bit of a dusting there, and I'm going to go over the line work. So, you know, I hope you can see this. I don't want to break anything, but so that we get that shadow effect. that has been spoken about. And I'll give it another dusting. So the idea was to shake up, cotton buds, need them just to lift off the excess paint. The whole idea here was that you'd get some paint in the little lip in there. Now I'm just going to take a little dab of thinner and lift up some of this paint, and then we'll go at it. Now you can see the colour coming through, albeit it might look a bit on the light side. But, you know, we'll give this a shot and see how it goes. And just get it in these long lengths here. It might need a couple of coats. Not really sure, because this is the first time I've used this paint on anything. And I'm just going to stick it into the window frames just to make sure we get them I think the contrast one, which Arcadian Railways was using, is a deeper shade, and maybe that was the difference with the contrast, as they call it. I'm not really sure how that is defined, but his definitely looked darker than this does. Now I'm going to let that dry. In the meantime, I will apply the same to the ends of the coaches. Make sure I get around the edges on the, and because this is black, I'm not sure how it will look. That's one done. Let's have a go at the other. So I'm not really using that thinner because, well, I don't think really want this thinned out any more than what it is. Okay, so that's done also. I'll put the lids back on things because you just never know. Now this might turn out quite light. We'll have to wait and see. I wonder if I could turn it around and hold it in the bottom. Yeah, I guess I could do that. And I'll speed it up a little bit. So I'll just give that a shake. Open it up and I'll pick up some there. And we'll just do the other side. Give this a shake again. Don't want it to be thickening up. I want to make sure it's nice and smooth, it's got a painterly look. Alright, we'll let that dry. I'll hold it from the inside and apply this. And I'll just run it along. Both sides are different, of course. Anyway, that'll give it a good coverage, and then we'll see how it is when it dries out. I do my best to make sure there isn't any build-up of paint, because it will become very obvious. I might just run along the bottom here a little bit. Difficult to say how much to put on, but we'll let that dry a bit more and we'll check it again. In the meantime, I had to wash the floors upstairs, so a good brushwork. So I just went upstairs and I blasted this with the hairdryer. So I'm going to give it another quick coat and see how it looks. But there's definitely, I think I need to get a darker shade going here. I guess that's the difference between constant and shade. I guess the experienced Warhammer guy would know the difference, because these Citadel paints are used in the Warhammer hobby. And if I remember with Arcadia Railways, when he was doing his, he was using the thinner, and because the paint was so much darker. I think that was the reason. So the coach has had its second coat, and as you can see, it is a bit darker than the original. And actually, I think that's a nice colour. It's definitely darker. Now, would you want to go darker still? Possibly. And I might do that and vary it up a little bit on a rake of coaches. Well, let me just take off that painter's tape. So I had to use the tiniest little dab of the paint thinner to remove some of the paint that was on the roof. You can see there's still a little bit there. I'll get that cleaned off. But I think that looks terrific. And it's a nice job. So I might just leave this one as you see it. I'll put it back together and we'll get it on the track. And I'll still go and get the darker shade and try that, see how it looks. So what do you think about this? There, look at the difference. I think that looks smashing, actually. Very effective. So a few passengers add to the scene. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on here then? Well, what I'm going to try and do now is weather the chassis here. And I'm using a series of weathering colour kit from Polly's. And the one that I've decided to start with is dirt. So I'll put some of that on, and then I'll maybe put some black over the top of it. But let's just see how it comes out. So there's not a lot there, it's just some, give the effect. I'll stick the body on and see how it looks. So I think it looks great. There's the original one, the original colour, let's say, as issued. And here it is, painted with the shade Seraphim Sepia. I think that looks terrific. There are passengers in there, but they're difficult to see now. I guess it's too dark. I would probably have to put a light in there. Anyway, I think that looks terrific. It's a great little exercise to go through and gives me confidence to continue and get a rake of these. Let me know what you prefer, the painted ones or the original ones. So there's the B12, and here are the two painted coaches. Now, I think that looks terrific. I'm actually very pleased with the way it came out. The colour is very nice. I think there's just a tiny little bit of brown on the roof, but you can see the difference between what it used to be and what it is now. Now in this one, I put a little bit of dust paint on the chassis and a little bit on the bogies. It's not perfect, but you know, it just makes it look a little bit different. And I think these would look great if there was a rake of 5 of them, which I will probably do. And maybe let's see if we can get it on the track. Well, let's see how it performs and how it looks on the track. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. You know, you could make it a little bit darker, but I'm very happy with the way it turned out. So it's not a big task, it's quite simple. You don't need a lot of skill to do this. As long as you tape it up, take it apart and put the paint where it's supposed to go, you'll be okay. And it's inexpensive and it makes it into a whole new model. Very stunning looking and more natural than the ones issued by Triang Hornby. Anyway, once again, thank you for dropping by Partickhill Station. We hope to see you here again sometime for some interesting stuff. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.